Yes, my peoples, what's happening? What's going on? Hope everyone's all good and well. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Ashctizzy on all the socials. You already know. Euros, we took a little break. You know what I mean? I was a fan. I was watching the games. I was rooting on England until it got to the final, and I was a bit. But we won't even get into that, man. England let us down as always, But there's resemblance between England and Arsenal. You already know, man. They take you all the way to the end, and then boom, just when you think you're about to go places, they just remind you, yeah, stay humble. But yeah, less of England. Let's talk about Arsenal, man. And Arsenal's pre-season. Arsenal's pre-season has been pretty decent, to be fair with you. I can't lie. The first game we played against Bournemouth, 1-1 draw against Bournemouth. But the thing that I liked about Bournemouth is that a lot of our players got a run out. So a lot of the youth players like Ethan and Wani got a run out. We got our own little Salah as well. I know Liverpool have got Mohamed Salah, but we got our own Salah over here as well, who's making noise as well. He's a good academy player. Even our goalkeeper, Karl Hein, Estonian guy, he looks good. Like, I know there's a lot of noise about us signing a new goalkeeper, but to be fair with you, I can't lie. I feel like Karl Heinz is the guy, man. Ramsdale, 2 seasons ago, I can't lie, man. I used to say to my friends all the time that Ramsdale's the guy, Ramsdale's this, Ramsdale's that. But ever since, I think it was that the Ian Wright interview. Ever since the Ian Wright interview, I don't know what's happened when he said it. I can't concentrate. I've got to speak to the crowd. I'm sure Arteta just looked at that and said, you know what? Enough is enough. I even see a video on Twitter circulating. It was Ramsdale in preseason last year. He made a few clownish mistakes that Ramsdale does, and I feel like that was like the last straw for Arteta to say, you know what? I'm getting Raya in. And me, I'll be honest, I wasn't Raya's biggest fan in the beginning, but he shut us all up. Most clean sheets. We ain't had that since Petr Cech, said before on another video. So I feel like, yeah, Arteta, even though some of the decisions that he makes are questionable at the time, I feel like most of the time in the future, it's almost like, yeah, I told you, just be humble. And you know what? As an Arsenal fan, like I said, I'm always behind Arteta. I'm always following the process. I believe in the process. And I believe that this season will be a little bit better than last. I know the only way better really is to win the Premier League. I do feel like Man City are going to kind of, I don't want to say take their foot off the gas, because Pep will never, ever, ever allow any of his teams to take their foot off the gas. I think it's just more of a case that we're more seasoned now. We're more seasoned. Like, a lot of the players that play for us now have been there for a few years. This is Arteta's squad, not just his team. Like, a lot of the time, like, managers will come in and they'll make some signings and get rid of some players, and it's his starting 11, but maybe the players on the bench are necessarily the old managers, and it doesn't really work when you want to change it or you get 1 or 2 injuries. But I feel like with Arteta, this is his squad now. Like, it was his squad last season, but Man City were just a bit too powerful, plus the 115 or however many charges they've got as well. But yeah, I feel like this season will be a little bit different. And I feel like as Arsenal fans, we can look at the preseason and hope that that's what's to come in the coming season, because there's a lot of breakthrough players, man. There's a lot of breakthrough players. There's a lot of players that are leaving that we'll get into in a little bit that I'm not happy about. I can't lie. Some heartbreaking ones and some can't wait for you to leave ones. Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey is getting minutes. That's what we need. You know what I mean? Everyone knows how good Thomas Partey is. We call him the octopus. You know what I mean? He's a good player when he's fit. The problem is if Thomas Partey is like he can't stay fit. Like, certain man are saying he's doing that that Carnu thing where man's saying he's 28, but really and truly man's 37, 38. So it's like his body's just breaking down. You know what I mean? No shade to the Niger and the Ghana boys, but you get my drift though, man. But no, Thomas Partey when fit is class. Thomas Partey is class, but he can't stay fit, and that's the problem with Thomas Partey. And I feel like that's why a lot of heat might have been on Declan Rice. Like, obviously Declan Rice's role at West Ham is completely different. Like, he's bossing that midfield. Like, he's almost telling players what to do. You come into the Arsenal midfield and it's different, man. You got centre backs that can ball out. You got Odegaard in there that can ball out. Our wide players can ball out. So yeah, I feel like when Declan Rice went in that 6 last season, that's where all of this talk comes from, and that he can't progress the ball quick enough. He can't play in that lone 6, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not saying that he can't, but obviously it's evidently clear that Rice is better in an 8. For me anyway. Like some people say he can still play the 6, but I think Rice is better in the 8. And I still think, that we actually need a 6, to be fair. Like I said, if I could get guarantees that Thomas Partey is going to be fit for the whole season, then cool, we don't need a 6. But this guy is going to play 2-3 games. After the 2-3 games, he's going to go missing for 3 months. Arteta's going to say he's 3 weeks away. Within that 3-week process, he's going to get another injury. And all of a sudden, it's January and we've got no number 6. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Martinelli, man, my boy, man. He caught a lot of shade last season. Like, people love to forget about yesterday, man. Like, you have a couple stinkers and people just start trying to rub you out. Like, it doesn't make no sense to be like, Martinelli at Arsenal, for me, has had more good moments than bad moments. And it's like, as soon as you kind of go on like bad form, or you don't start scoring goals, or, you know what I mean, your stats ain't looking great, your head drops a little bit, people are quick to say, you know what, let's get rid of him, we need a new player. But nah, Martinelli, he's someone that I think his ceiling is mad high. Like his ability is crazy. Like, he's a bit of a wild card player, as in, like, sometimes I don't actually think he knows what he's gonna do, but it works to his advantage. You know, the man that just do a little step over and it hits off their thigh and their leg and they get through. That's Martinelli. But you know what I mean? How many times have we seen man do that and bun man and score? Do you know what I mean? Last season, he never scored that many goals. But that's all right. That's a blip. Like, if he has the same season this season as he had last season, then we can turn around and say, you know what? Was it a little purple patch where he's playing good? Or, do you know what I mean? We have to look at it we have to look longevity rather than just look at a one season, especially when for the season before that and before that he's overperforming. For me, not even overperforming, but performing good. Some people will say overperforming because his numbers were great, but yeah, man, let's not give up on Martinelli. And it's true what Arteta said something. I saw a little quote that Arteta said, and it was like, most players come to pre-season like to get prepared, but Martinelli's already come prepared. Like, and that's what I'm trying to say. And it's like he's come with a whole different energy. It's like he's offended by what most of you lot have been saying. And I know Twitter is like a toxic place. Like, I know these footballers definitely read the tweets and they're like, yo, my man's cussing me, or this person is cussing me, and the tweet is getting traction, and they take it to heart. Yeah, he looks like he's come back to preseason on a whole new vengeance, man. Even what's his name? Lewis Skelly. I think he played left back for us. From what I know, he's a midfielder, but he can play wing back as well. You know, most of these guys that play centre mid get dashed. The man get dashed to the fullback position, innit? If you're not like, look at Maitland Niles. Like, obviously he was screaming, I'm a centre mid, but big man, bro, you was a right back, but he thinks he's got too much tech. So yeah, man. Skelly looks like a good player. Obviously, he's 17, and personally, he still needs another loan, or a couple more loans, really, because I haven't seen much of him. I've seen him in the youth games, but obviously, Premier League football is completely different to pre-season. It's a different intensity. Like, pre-season, I've always say, is about team cohesion, team bonding, and just building chemistry. Like, understanding how the gaffer wants you to play, learning from mistakes that you made last season as well. Team bonding, really. Like, obviously results don't matter. We're gonna get onto that because Chelsea have had a couple stinkers, but it's just more about really team bonding, and just building that chemistry really on and off the pitch, getting that good feeling before the season starts, really and truly. So yeah, personally, I'm happy as an Arsenal fan with how the preseason's gone so far. Bearing in mind we've only played 2 games, but you can only beat what's in front of you. I know the first game was a draw, and we beat them on penalties. The second game, yeah, to be fair, like, obviously United had a few players not playing, so did we. So I'm not really going to look at it in that sense of like, yo, we beat Man United. Obviously, it's good for me to banter the man them and say United, you lot got slapped over, but in reality, it means nothing, can it? But we just have to use these games and build a rhythm, and just take the confidence into game by game, take that into the season, and boom, man. Because Man City, like I said, they're not gonna. Yeah, they might lose a few players. I'm hearing Bernardo Silva might go. obviously I'm hearing Pep's now signed a new contract, and he was twerking about leaving, and is he gonna leave? And had England man gas saying, yo, we should get Pep as the manager, but he was never leaving, man. Them man there are on ridiculous money per week. Like Pep, I'm sure he's like earning nearly like 500 bags a week or something stupid like that. Can do what he want. He can do what he wants at Man City. Them Arab man that own the club are his brethren. Like, do you know what I'm saying? You see him on holiday with them. Like, it's different over there still. Certain clubs have to work the hard way in it, and you know what I mean. It's gonna feel better when we finally get there, man. True, but transfers though, incomings and outgoings, you know. Incomings and outgoings. Let's get onto the incomings first, yeah, because obviously the big one is obviously Calafiori. That's what's going on, yeah. I can't lie, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, and bare man that watch football do this, and it annoys me, and me, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't do this. I fly straight, yeah. I didn't know too much about Calafiori before the Euros. Don't get it twisted. Obviously, I've heard his name, but I've never watched more than 5 games of him playing 90 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not gonna jump the gun and start being like, yo, we signed the next Nesta, we signed the next Maldini, because you know he's coming like them, man. You know, he looks like them, man, the old school Italian, man. You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna get gassed and start screaming, yeah, Calafiori's the next Nesta, but he looks good. And anybody that knows ball, anybody that watched the Euros will tell you that Calafiori looks like a good player. The funniest thing is, the joke of it is, man, I see like after he played about 2 or 3 games, all the memes going around on Twitter. Saliba who? Everyone's talking about Saliba who? You're trying to buzz off my brethren. Not even my brethren, sorry. Man's talking like man know the dog. I don't even know the dog. You're trying to buzz off my, you know what I'm saying, my centre back. Yeah. As if to say Calafiori ain't coming to play with my man next season. So you see all you man that done them tweets, about Saliba who, Calafiori's the guy, Calafiori's this, Calafiori's that. That's our guy now. And you know them same man are going to turn around and start cussing Calafiori and say, oh, he's not that good, oh, he ain't done much yet, he's only been on the scene, blah, 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 he's only 22. But he was the same man that before Arsenal was interested in him, or before we knew we was interested in him, because obviously, you know, Arteta's cooking behind the scenes. Before you lot knew that, you lot was trying to rub out Saliba, talking about he's better than Gabriel and Saliba who. But now you're going to see Gabriel, Saliba and Calafiori. So what's going on? And just to top it off now, I see Sky Sports News. And you see me, obviously there's only a few journalists that you can listen to, man. A lot of these Twitter people just retweet nonsense, or someone says something, it picks up traction and people run with it. But you know when it's coming from Sky Sports and you see, what's his name? Is it Dermish? Man, like Dermish. And you see him come on the screen and start talking about transfers, you know there's a reliable source, because them man there getting paid big bucks to go on the TV and give over the information. So Mikel Merino, number 8, Spanish guy, plays for Real Sociedad, left-footed. He plays more in the 8, to be fair. Now, don't get it twisted. He's a good player. He's got experience, been around the block. He knows how to keep the ball. He's got quick feet. He's comfortable on the ball. But looking into his stats, obviously, I'm not really a stats man, car. Stats, as Savage Dan said, stats can be bikinis, you know what I mean? So I don't really look into the stats, but his passing stats are not great. Like he's got a worse passing ratio than all of our midfielders. I think like Rice's and that and Odegaard's is like 90%. I think Jorginho is our lowest on about 80%. And his is like 78 or something like that, which I'm not too mad about. Because I feel like if you watch a lot of his highlights and a lot of his games, he's quite an intelligent player. I feel like respect to Real Sociedad, but our players have a much higher IQ than them, man. So when he's trying to do certain passes, I feel like he's a risky player as well, where he don't always choose the easiest pass. He don't just want to give you the 5-yard pass where you're going to get it back. He's always trying to split the defense, or do you know what I mean? Or just play like a nice pass for you to run onto. So I feel like he's a risky player. And I feel like with the players that we have, it will suit his game a lot more. So yeah, the only thing is, like I said, I don't want to be negative on it, but I feel like we need a 6. I feel like we've established that Declan Rice is an 8. We know Declan Rice, if he's fit, he's playing week in, week out. We know Odegaard is the captain. He's playing week in, week out. So it's that other position that's missing. And obviously, Partey, we're seeing him training. He looks, like I said, he looks good so far, but he always looks good when he's available. But it's the availability that kills him. If Merino comes in, is it just going to be a thing of he rotates with Declan Rice and we give Declan Rice that that kind of rest that he needs? Because obviously we're in all competitions again. Or is it a thing where Merino can play in the 6? Let me know what you lot think on that, because obviously his stats show that defensively he's great, but his stats also show that offensively he's effective as well. A bit like Declan Rice, where that kind of 8 position suits them both. So is it a thing where either Declan or Merino is going to have to sacrifice their game and go in that 6? Or is it a thing where they're both just going to share that that 8 position? Chiesa. Sorry, I nearly went mad there. I'm hearing talks of Chiesa now. 2-3 years ago, yeah, Chiesa, he looked hot. He looked serious. He looked like the man. Like I was watching Chiesa thinking, you know what, this winger here is hungry. He believes, he's got the arrogance of believing I'm going to beat the fullback every single time I go up against the fullback. He doesn't, but that's what good players do. They believe that they can beat the fullback every time. And when it works, it works. But I think Chiesa got a mad injury, and he's just never looked the same. Like he's lost a yard of space, a yard of pace. He's kind of lost his quick feet. I don't want to say he looks a bit slower just mentally, but maybe the injury is affecting him. I'm not too sure what injury he got, but I heard he got a injury that kept him out for some time. I'm not really too fond on this. I hear that Tottenham are in for Chiesa as well, and the only issue that I've got is I don't want to not sign Chiesa, and then you see Chiesa come to the Premier League for Tottenham and just tear it up, because I'm hearing Juventus are trying to push him out. Like they don't even want that much money for him. So it's like, if a player of that quality is available for low money in the climate that we're in, with how ridiculous the market is, do you just sign him anyway? I say no, and the only reason why I say no is because there's another name that's been floating about that I prefer, and that's Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto, like, you lot watch the Premier League, you lot see what's going on. Yeah, I know he had a mad injury as well, and before the injury, he was fire. He's been out injured, but don't get it, he's come back and he still looks good. He still looks good. Pedro Neto still looks good. So the difference as well is that Chiesa, you know how it is with these Italians, and I don't want to contradict myself because obviously I'm got high hopes for Calafiori, but sometimes these Italians come to the Premier League and they're just not it. Most of the time, Italians they don't even want to leave Serie A. You know what I mean? They love staying in Italy. I don't know if it's obviously people say Italy's a nice country. Must be the people, the climate, the food. Come to England, it's all, you know what I mean? It's gloom. Looking outside now, the clouds are up. Look like it could rain, even though it was sunshine earlier. You know what I mean? So I feel like Italians ain't really on that. They're not really on that whole climate change and that lifestyle change. So yeah, Chiesa, no. Pedro Neto, yes. He's been in the Premier League. We've seen what he can do. He doesn't need to do this whole, I need to adapt. I need to get comfortable. I need to learn the language. Nah, less of that. You know what I mean? Less of that. He's ready already. Come in and play. And the thing is with Pedro Neto is he can play both sides. And it's like, obviously, we've got Trossard there who can't. And the thing is I love about Arteta is like, everybody knows Martinelli and Saka. That's our wingers. But last season, what Arteta showed us was that if you're not performing and someone else is performing, then you're not playing. And it's not no hard feeling thing. But this is Arsenal. Like Arteta said, this is our fucking club. I love this club. This is the standards that we're at now. Like, it's not about just playing man because he's a fan favorite. It's about playing man who's producing on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? And Trossard come in and smashed it. And I feel like Saka needs that as well, man. Saka knows whether he plays good or bad. He's playing next week, whether it's a Carling Cup game, whether it's a Champions League game, whether it's a Premier League game, whatever it is, Saka knows if I'm fit, I'm playing. Unless he probably says to Arteta, look, Arteta, I don't fancy it today, which obviously he's never gonna do. And you see that with Saka, like it gets towards the end of the season and he kind of burns out, he dies out. So yeah, I wanted at least, you know what I mean? But at least went to Bayern Munich. can't knock him for that. But yeah, I would have preferred Elise. But other than that, yeah, Pedro Neto. Striker as well. I feel like we definitely need a striker. Like I said, presuming that we're gonna sign Marino, I think Calafiori's had his medical, so by the time this video probably comes out, I'm hoping that Here We Go would have come out. You know what I mean? I'm hoping it would have been a Here We Go situation. Presuming that we sign Calafiori, that's all right. Our defense is back because obviously we got Timber there as well. We got Timber. Presuming we get Marino, a winger, which I'm saying we even need Pedro Neto. Obviously, Chiesa is available, but my first choice to be Pedro Neto. Furthermore, my first choice would be Nico Williams, but that's a whole nother story. And I heard he's going Barcelona, and you know that man there, his brethren, I see him doing TikTok dances with, and that is on the other wing. And you know what I mean? He's probably already said, "Yo, brother, come." You know what I mean? I'll do the same. They're both like the same age, probably into the same things. They're probably best friends off the pitch. So if Williams gets that move to Barcelona, man can't be mad. But that's my first choice. Then Pedro Neto. Then Chiesa. Other than that, we need a striker. And I'm still gonna stick with what I said from before, from last season. I think my number one target, but I think it's unrealistic, really and truly, is Alexander Isak, man. Alexander Isak, you heard how he speaks already, man. He sounds like he's from Northwest. He's already seasoned, man. He's gonna fit right at home in here. You know what I mean? But obviously, we know Newcastle. They're gonna ask for big dough. They're gonna ask for big peas. Like Isaac ain't no joke. And Newcastle ain't no joke neither. Obviously, Newcastle had that FFP beef where they had to sell certain players to but I think that they've sorted that out. So Newcastle are not in no rush to sell, because if that was the case, I would say here's 100 million for Isaac and Bruno Gomares. But you can't even buy Newcastle off like that no more, to be honest with you. Newcastle are big fish now. Like, they're chatting to the big boys, really and truly. The players that they've brought in recently shows that, you know what I mean? Like, they've got that pool. Let's not beat around the bush as well. Newcastle are a massive club, even though they haven't won the Premier League for years. The last time was probably like, was it 92 or something like that? We're going mad. Alan Shearer won it with, was it Blackburn? Blackburn. I don't actually think he won it with Newcastle. I think he's their all-time top goal scorer. Because I'm sure when he won it with Blackburn, Man United wanted him. But he said, I want to go Newcastle. That's my boyhood club. I've won the league. I don't need to come United to win trophies. I want to go back to Newcastle. So respect to Alan Shearer for that one. Alexander Isak. That's my first choice. But like I said, Newcastle are not no jokes. So that's not going to be an easy grab for us at all. Second choice, Ivan. You know, if you follow me, if you follow my things, then you know man's been screaming Ivan Toney for time. See, when everyone's all jumping on man's, I don't even want to say why, but you know what I mean? When he done the no-look penalty, everyone, Ivan, that man's been seeing him do that from the Championship. Shout out my brother Robert Taylor, because he's the one that told man about Ivan Toney from when he was in the Championship, tearing it up. You know what I mean? There was a time where he scored the most goals in the Championship. He's just a hungry guy, man. I think he's actually born and bred and comes from Northampton, but that's not too far from London. He's got that kind of arrogance about him. So I would take Ivan Toney. And then I think third choice would have to be Ollie Watkins, you know. You know what it is, I'll be raw. There's something about Ollie Watkins' game I don't like, and I don't know what it is. But that's not me saying I don't rate him. That's me saying the way he plays, there's something about him I just don't like. But he's class. He tore us up, come on for England. He done what Watkins does. You know what I mean? He wants to be in the last man. He wants that through ball. He wants to run in behind. He wants you to give him that opportunity. He wants you to stretch his legs. No homo. But yeah, Watkins, I definitely would take Watkins. I'll take any of the three, like I said, in that order. I'd rather take Isak, then Toney, then Watkins. But I think if we sign any of them three, that will improve our team with the signings that I've said that we've already obviously confirmed, and the ones that we should be wrapping up. And the ones that obviously Arteta, if you're listening to this, man, you heard what I said, man. You know what I mean? Let's go put that cheeky bid in for Nico Williams, man. Tell Stan Kroenke and Eddie to get their monies out, man. That's the cash money signings. Players out. I think Jakub Kiwior is going out. I like Kiwior now, to be fair with you, but you know what I mean. Like I feel like Arteta is like being a bit ruthless with Kiwior. To be fair, I would rather get rid of Zinchenko, because Zinchenko for me is just a bum, and I don't want to even get into why I think he's a bum. But let's just talk football reasons. He just gets spun week in, week out, man. He can't defend. He's supposed to be like an inverted left back. And don't get it twisted. When we're the better team and we're on top of the other team, he's great. When the going gets tough and it's back against the ropes, he is absolutely abysmal, man. He's abysmal. So me, I'd rather keep Jakub Kiwior and let Kiwior learn. And get rid of Zinchenko. You probably get about 30 bob for Zinchenko, man. You know what I mean? So I'd take that. Eddie Murphy as well. I don't even know what to say on Eddie Murphy. Like I feel like I've cussed him out too much. I've cussed him out too much. And don't get it twisted. I've said this to my brethren the other day as well. Yeah. Eddie Murphy will go to France and be top goal scorer. Or if he's not going to be top goal scorer, he'll be top 3. That's how good that league is over there. His name will start ringing bells again. Obviously, in England, no one's going to take him serious, guys. Like, don't get twisted. He might get a move back to England, but I'm talking like a West Ham or something. You know what I mean? Like, no shame to them, man. But he might get like a West Ham. But that French league is so wide that Eddie might as well go there and just, you know what I mean, try to go get top goal scorer, try to put his name back in good lights. Then even, you know what I mean, I heard he's Ghanaian, so you might as well just go over to the Ghana team and say, yo, I know you're England's all-time, I think he's England's all-time youth under 21's top goal scorer or something like that, something mad like that. Let it go, bro. You probably lose that reward when you go over to your Ghanaian roots. But broski, Eddie, trust me, it's not making sense. You at Arsenal's not making sense. You trying to play for England's not making sense. You even taking out number 14 is not making sense. Like, it's just not making sense. Like, your whole, it's just crazy to me that I don't get it twisted. I know that you try hard and that, but you're not it, bro. Like, I've seen hella Arsenal, man, like strikers that we've had, like Bentner, Shamak. You know what I'm trying to say? All them type of guys. Even Francis Jeffers, bro. I can throw it back to Jeffers, bro. Car News. I'm trying to just not name elite strikers, but good strikers. Eduardo's. Bro, you're not none of them man's level, bro. And you got a big 14, you know. Bro, disrespect, bro. Forget that even being a disrespect to Henri. That's a disrespect to Theo Walcott, bro. Do you know what I'm trying to say, bro? Like, come on, bro. What are you trying to do here, bro? What are you trying to do here? Like, it's like I said, it's not even a disrespect to the GOAT Henri. You're just disrespecting his son, Theo, bro. It's a mockery, man. Eddie, thank you. It's been a pleasure. But yes, it's time for you. It's time for you to go. I know that Arsenal are trying to hold out for 50 million, which is crazy for Eddie Murphy. But in this climate, yeah, and when certain teams are paying 100 mil for a certain man in Ukraine that are playing on the same level as Hackney Marsh, I can't lie. 50 mil does not sound like it's mad for a guy that's proven in the Premier League. You know what I mean? He scored goals in the Premier League. He's played Champions League football. You know what I mean? So give us 40, I'll run it. I think that obviously Arteta's holding out for a certain fee, but I feel like before the other clubs start clocking on how wacky he is, yeah, because in preseason he's stinking out the place. He's stinking out the place against some whack team. So before clubs start clocking that and his value just gets devalued, and he's in a year or January he's worth 15 mil. Let's just take the 30 mil now and just move, man. He's from our academy anyway. You know what I mean? It's not like we're going to make a loss. Obviously, as Arsenal, we're known to not make mad profit off the players that we sell, but that ain't going to change in a day, innit? So you might as well just get rid of Eddie for the 30 and just pocket the peas, boy. My other boy, Nelson, man, and I've always said this, I'm a big fan of Nelson, but you're not it either, man. Like, I've been there gassing you up, bro. I've been there, bare preseason games, Emirates Cup and that. Nelson, bro, my man's gonna be hard, you know. I remember when you was on loan in Holland and all of them type of things, and I was gassing you up, bro. But broski, man, you're not really performing, man. Like, you get your chance and that you run around and that, I see it. You put in the effort, like you're playing for the badge, like big Arsenal, like I get it, but ability-wise, you're not it, man. And I almost want to blame Arteta for my mentality now, because Arteta's put this mentality into me as an Arsenal fan, as like, man can't just be loving players for the sake of loving players. Like, I see bare other fans gassing up their players, or as soon as their team's interested in a player, oh, he's sick, he's this. I can't do that. Like, you have to prove yourself before I can speak on you. You have to prove yourself, and respectfully, if you play and you're not of that standard that I expect, or that standard for us where we're trying to win the Premier League, if you're not contributing to that, but you gotta go. Reece Nelson, I can't lie, respectfully as well. I know you scored, it wasn't last season, the season before, when you scored that banger in the last minute to keep us in. And I can't lie, that probably kept you at Arsenal for another year. You know what I mean? That probably kept you at Arsenal for another year, but I feel like he'll get a good move as well. Almost like someone else I'm going to speak about in a second, but I feel like he'll get a good move. I feel like he can get a London move, maybe like a Crystal Palace, or even a Fulham. Talking about Fulham, man, the one that's really going to hurt me badly is a Emil Smith-Rowe, man. Emil Smith-Rowe, man, that one there, sour, man. I see Smith-Rowe from the academy. Remember when he went on loan? Remember when he came back? Smith-Rowe and Saka was key parts to why Arteta didn't lose his job. You know, let's not beat around the bush. I think it was in that COVID season, man, when them two just carried us. They absolutely carried us. Like, we had two kids from Hell End carrying us, saved Arteta. Smith-Rowe got an injury, and it's like, I see the stats. It's like, for the last 2 years, he's only started like 3 or 4 Premier League games, and that's crazy for a guy who's got such a high ceiling, man. And yeah, and I feel it's a bittersweet one, because as much as I feel dark for Smith-Rowe, I'm almost happy for him, because I know when he goes to Fulham, yeah, the world is gonna see how good Smith-Rowe is, yeah. And I want you to screen record this moment, save this moment. Smith-Rowe, yeah, he'll be back in the England squad easily. As long as he doesn't get injured, yeah, he'll be back in the England squad. And the reason I'm saying that is because this guy is good. Natural ability is good. His football IQ is good. His strength is good. His dribbling is good. He can finish. He can knock the ball around. He can bop it. He can find the pass. I'm telling you now, Smith-Rowe is good. Obviously, he lost his place at Arsenal. He got the number 10 shirt. He wants to be a 10. Odegaard's coming, and Odegaard is obviously elite. Odegaard is one of the best number 10s in the world. So I feel sorry for Smith-Rowe, because it's almost like you just lost your position to a person who's respectfully better than you. Sorry. It's happened to me before, man. Semi-pro, I'm a striker. I've played. I'm banging in goals, but them goals weren't enough to win the league. Bringing another striker, he's just a bit better. What can I do? I've got to, you know what I mean? You got to suck it up. Why? You know, you got to hold that still. You got to hold that, man. You got to understand that if it's not going to work for me here, then I've got to make it work for me elsewhere. And I feel like Smith-Rowe is going to light it up at Fulham, man. I feel like Fulham have a decent team. They're Premier League, obviously proven, really. I feel like Smith-Rowe, give him a good run of games, and I feel like people are going to see how good Smith-Rowe is. But he's going to be a player that I'm going to miss. You're going to be a player I'm going to miss, man. So Smith-Rowe, man, good luck with your journey, man. I hope that there's a mad U-turn, or you know what? I hope Arteta or Arsenal, Edu, Stan Kroenke, Josh Kroenke, whoever it is, puts in a clause that we get a buyback clause, because I feel like Smith-Rowe doesn't want to leave. What I've been told is he would rather stay and fight for his position, but obviously Arsenal need to raise the funds. I feel like Arsenal respect him too much as well, and they know how good of a player he is, just to let him rot on the bench and to kill his potential. I feel like he has to play week in, week out. He's at 23 now, around that age. Go and play, man. Go and show the world how good you are, man. And I'm hoping that in 3 or 4 years' time, when, you know what I mean, you've really been playing week in, week out, and you've really conquered that 10 position, you can come back. Whether you come back and play wide, you play 10, you play 8. I hope that this is not the end of this is not the boys to men end of the road for Smith-Rowe for us, man. But players to watch for this season. I'm gonna give you 3 players that I feel like, as Arsenal fans, we should keep an eye out for. First one is Timber. And the reason why I say that, I feel like if you watched him in last pre-season before he got injured, he looked hungry. He never came here to sit on the bench. He looked confident. It looks like he wants the ball. He's not scared to go in for a tackle. Yeah, I think it's funny because obviously Ben White is the right back, and you got Gabriel, Saliba, centre backs, and obviously left back. Is it Calafiore? Is it Timber? I don't know, yeah, but I'm not gonna be surprised if Timber starts somewhere. And it's weird because you know how much like Benny Blanco is probably my favorite Arsenal player. I don't see him getting replaced. I don't. Calafiore is coming in. I see him starting. Our centre backs. I don't see that getting broke up. I don't know where Timber's gonna start, but what I can say is he's too good to not start. And that's the scary thing. Like he's too good to not start. The second one, my boy Ethan and Wani, man, he's everyone knows how good he is anyway, man. If you follow football, if you know about players in academy football, then you'll know his name would have rung bells. You would have seen highlights of him on Insta, or on Twitter, or on YouTube, on whatever it is. He's a star, man. I feel like pre-season, he's played quite a few. He's got quite a few minutes. He looks confident. He looks good. Yeah, and I feel like he's definitely one for the future. But I'm hearing that he might be involved this season, and I feel like if he kind of has gets a couple games like against, I don't even want to say like the lower league sides, because the lower league sides can turn you over really and truly. But if he kind of gets games here and there, whether it's FA Cup, Carling Cup, some Premier League minutes, I feel like, yeah, man, he's going to be a good player for us. Obviously, that all depends. I feel like if he doesn't play no minutes, if his game time is limited this season, then we've got to loan him out before we have another one of them situations where we lose like a great youth talent. Yeah, but I feel like Ethan and Wani, he's going to be a great player. He's going to be a star. And yeah, I look forward to seeing the role that he has to play this season. And the last one is Martinelli, It's Martinelli. Like I said earlier already, I feel like everyone gave him a bit of a hard time. Everyone gave him a little bit of a hard time. He had a bad season last year. Not even a bad season, because we finished second, and he contributed towards that. But he didn't hit the numbers that he should have hit, which he would probably tell you himself. He's a bit crazy. Not crazy, but he's better than what he's shown. But I've still got faith in Martinelli. And what I see against Man United in the preseason showed me that he's not dwelling on last season. He's hungry to do better than what he done. And I'll stand by that. I do always think that with Brazilians, once Madrid or Saturn comes calling, all the money comes calling, they'll cut you off quick. You know what I mean? They'll tell you, yeah, safe, but I got you know what I mean? I got money, family, and I get it. But while we've got him, while he's young, I think Martinelli, he'll improve now. And also remember as well, man, I think the difference with Saka is Saka's got Ben White on that side. He's got Ben White on that side. He's got Odegaard on that side. So it's easy for him to find little triangles and find little connections, and you know what I mean, and building relationships on the pitch. I feel like with Martinelli on that left-hand side, the left centre mid chains a lot of the time, the left back chains a lot of the time. And it just became a little bit you couldn't find the rhythm, you couldn't find no patterns, you couldn't find no partnerships. And I feel like that's why Arteta especially has gone in for Calafiore, who is obviously can play centre back, can play left back, but can play inverted as well. Because I feel like that will help Martinelli a lot to be able to build a relationship on that side, and to be able to, for us to be able to get the best out of Martinelli. But yeah, man, that's it really. Episode 1 of the pre-season. Like I said, we back now. We back. Obviously the YouTube, Ashctizzy, the TikTok, the Twitter, or the X as they call it, Ashctizzy. Just follow me up on all of the socials. And yeah, man, I'm gonna have a couple more guests on my show as well. I'm gonna do a new little fan show where I just get fans and we just debate about random things, whether it's what's going on in the Premier League or what's going on with one of the clubs. Because yeah, man, there's definitely some people that they got high football IQ and funny statements and comments and opinions. But that's what football's about. I say it to my brothers all the time: no one's right, no one's wrong, unless obviously we're talking facts. But when we're just talking opinions, I'm not right, you're not wrong. Do you know what I mean? But it's always good to debate. So yeah, man. a lot more is coming this season. Just stay tuned, stay following, like, comment, subscribe, and all of that. Share it as well. And yeah, I'll catch you again. Pow. Peace.